Deputies arrest a man accused of trying to arrange a murder for hire. We'll show you how he got caught.
Georgetown police say the man who robbed this Domino's could be behind several other crimes.
An Estill County School Board member charged with driving under the influence goes before a judge.
This is WKYT News at 5.
Deputies say he wanted someone dead. Today, a Pulaski County man is in jail accused of trying to arrange a murder for hire.
Deputies say they had 26-year-old Jordan Nicholas in custody within hours after learning about his alleged plot. WKYT's Hillary Thornton shows us how he was caught in our top story at 5.
Early Tuesday afternoon, the Pulaski County Sheriff received a tip from someone who was concerned for another person's life.
An individual who is intent on murdering someone, it's important to act as quickly as possible.
The investigation then starting immediately, deputies identifying the man looking to hire a killer as 26-year-old Jordan Nicholas.
He had a criminal past and had been convicted of theft by unlawful taking.
Out on parole for that conviction, Pulaski County deputies say Nicholas is no stranger to them, so they got some help from a neighboring department.
The sheriff's office in Laurel County was able to provide us with an undercover officer.
Just hours later, setting up a meeting with Nicholas then asking the deputy to commit murder.
Not until our officers made the arrest, he had no idea that this individual was an undercover police officer.
Deputies say in addition to Nicholas picking the wrong man to commit a murder for him, he was also wrong about the person he wanted dead.
Individual he had been involved in a drug deal with. Actually, he thought the individual was an informant for the sheriff's office, and in reality, he was not.
Nicholas now behind bars facing a solicitation for murder charge. In Pulaski County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Nicholas did not want to talk to us from jail.
Police think the man behind an overnight robbery is linked to other robberies. The masked robber held up the Domino's in Georgetown about 2 a.m. WKYT's Victor Puente shows us the other crimes police think the man might have committed.
Georgetown police say it's possible the man who robbed this store early this morning also committed several other crimes in and around Georgetown. That man was wearing a mask when he came into this Domino's around 2 this morning. Police say he had a deep voice, and they believe he was wearing multiple layers of clothing beneath that shirt in an attempt to further disguise himself. They say he came in and separated the manager from the other employees before getting some money and running from the building. They brought out a K-9 and followed a track to this abandoned building, but think he got into a car. Police credit the employees with cooperating with the robber and getting him out of the business as quickly as possible. They think a similar robbery at the Dollar General store just down the street a few weeks ago may have been committed by the same man. In this latest crime, it's likely he had scouted the business beforehand.
Obviously, it looks like this one's a little more planned out than just a robbery where you just run in, grab the money and run. He had to put a little thought into this, it looks like. Separated the employees, got them to the back of the store, just had to deal with the one person, obviously knew who the manager was, took the manager with the keys and access to the items that he wanted.
Captain Swanigan said they're working with Lexington police because they had a robbery with a similar suspect. They're trying to determine if it's the same man. In Scott County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The owner of the Domino's says they'll be installing additional security cameras and a magnetic lock on the door.
An Estill County School Board member found herself in front of a judge this morning. Amy Thomas answered to charges of DUI and wanton endangerment following an arrest last week. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain shows us what court records revealed about the case.
Information received from court documents shows that officers received a call that Thomas appeared to be passing out while at her daughter's gymnastics class earlier in the day on Friday. Documents show that the mother of two was later arrested outside of this salon for allegedly driving under the influence. Documents say the 33-year-old had difficulty walking, standing, and dialing her phone during her arrest. Also, officers found a straw with white residue in Thomas's wallet along with a revolver in her purse. Thomas was charged with DUI, possession of drug paraphernalia, carrying a concealed deadly weapon, possession of a controlled substance, and first-degree wanton endangerment, a felony charge. Today in court, Thomas pled not guilty to those charges. Judge William Leach suspended her license for 120 days. Her bond release conditions require that Thomas have only supervised contact with her children. I spoke with one of Amy's friends outside of the courtroom. She didn't want to be on camera, but she did tell me that Amy has the prescriptions because of lower back pain. She also said, quote, Amy is only human. In Estill County, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Thomas's preliminary hearing is set for March 16th. Well, the winter weather is finally loosening its grip on us, at least for a little bit.
We'll take any break we can get. That break starts with sun and warmer temperatures tomorrow. How does that sound? WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's here, and he's smiling.
It's the first time in a while I've been able to have a full-blown smile over some better weather blowing into town. But you know what, guys? We've been at rock bottom for the past couple of weeks in terms of the weather, so really only way to go from here is up. Got to look on the bright side of that. Not so bright out there right now. A lot of low clouds, fog, drizzle, snowflakes trying to mix in. Still 35 Lexington. Winds aren't a big issue, though. If we could get some winds, that would stir up the air and kind of push some of those low clouds and fog on out of town. And most areas dealing with the low clouds. Going to watch that Florence cam. We've got some clearing not too far away from northern Kentucky as of right now. And still, look at eastern Kentucky, those cams. Look at how much snow is still on the ground across eastern Kentucky compared to the central and western parts of the region. That's quite the difference. Cloud cover, again, some holes showing up around the Kentucky Speedway back toward Indianapolis into western Kentucky. Out and about this evening, temperatures slowly drop to freezing, then a touch below, so a slick spot may develop on area roads. When I come back in a few minutes, we will focus on that warm-up and show you why it is only a false start to spring. That's in a little over 10 minutes.
And deputies have arrested 2 people accused of kidnapping a man at a hotel. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Boone County. The sheriff's office says that Charles Burnett and Emma Homesser took the man at gunpoint from the Quality Inn and Suites in Boone County on Sunday. Deputies say the pair drove the victim to multiple ATMs and forced him to withdraw money until one of the machines took his card. We're told the ordeal ended after they punched the victim and kicked him out of the car. In Hardin County, police are asking for help finding a missing teenager. State police say that 15-year-old Catherine Severa Monterosa disappeared from her home yesterday morning. Police think that she could be in the company of a 32-year-old man who lives in Jefferson County. It's a chance for revenge. The Cats are facing Tennessee tomorrow night at Rupp.
Yeah, earlier this season, the Cats suffered that stunning loss in Knoxville. WKYT's Rob Bromley's here now with a preview of that matchup. Hi, Rob.
Hello, and a lot has changed since then. The Cats will be trying to keep it going tomorrow night, going for their 4th win in a row when the Tennessee Vols come into Rupp Arena. What happened in Knoxville earlier this month now seems like a distant memory, blowing that 21-point lead. The Cats have put together big wins over Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and are looking much like a national contender. What has made the difference?
Just talking on defense and being more vocal. You know, just playing for one another instead of playing for yourself.
They're becoming empowered. The guys that listen to anything I say in this group know every year that I'm talking about empowering the team and it being about them, and they're getting there. And I think you're seeing each guy flow into a role that suits him, and that's what this is about.
So it's tomorrow night in Rupp. Cats and the Vols. ESPN tip-off will be at 7 o'clock. Cal said Alex Poythress is making progress coming back from a knee injury. He said Poythress was able to do some stuff on the floor yesterday. He did not elaborate, but he is not ready to play. He has missed the last 3 games.
All right, Rob, thank you. The Cats will be going for their 35th straight victory in Rupp Arena tomorrow night. The top candidates in the GOP race for president continue to go after each other. The swipes they took while campaigning in South Carolina a little later.
It's a way to accommodate religious concerns, but a special type of surgery could benefit a larger community. We'll show you what it is and how it works in Better Living.
For years, police officers executed drug busts and then used the money from the stings to improve the department. Now that's gone. WKYT investigates what police are doing to help make up for the shortfall. Protecting for Less, Thursday at 6 on WKYT.
It's the President's Day sale at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Save big on legendary Lazy Boy comfort and quality. Find great deals on recliners, sofas, love seats, sectionals, and more. Plus special financing. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
That's the sound of Sirius XM, controlled by the largest touchscreen in its class. That's the sound of someone blowing past the last gas station for over 500 miles. That's the sound of 4 usually rowdy kids with headphones and their favorite movie. And together, these are the sounds of a well-executed automotive symphony.
Flaky fish from Alaska? Sweet buns from Hawaii? Nice going, new states. Welcome to the Union. Arby's, we have the meats.
Hurt in a car accident?
Your pain and suffering might be worth more than you think.
Car repairs, medical bills, gone.
We make it easy.
I made that call.
Let's get started. 800-800-4600.
Who you gonna call?
Change is taking root in Frankfurt. We need a voice that'll be heard. Daniel Elliott is the conservative for Boyle and Casey counties. Dedicated to protect our God-given freedoms from Obama liberals, Daniel will ensure government is held accountable and our Kentucky values are protected. Daniel Elliott will fight government overreach that's crippled our economy. We need a strong voice. On Tuesday, March 8th, vote Daniel Elliott for state representative.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
This winter, give snow and ice a swift kick to the curb in a Dodge with all-wheel drive. Returning FCA lessees can get $6,000 total cash allowance on the purchase of a 2015 Dodge Charger SXT.
It's the President's Day sale at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Save big on legendary Lazy Boy comfort and quality. Find great deals on recliners, sofas, love seats, sectionals, and more. Plus special financing. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Like WKYT on Facebook.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
We're trying to make a little progress to come out of this nasty and harsh winter weather pattern we've been in for the past couple of weeks, really for the majority of the past month, with a little break or two thrown in there for good measure. Temperatures now compared to this same point yesterday not showing a whole lot of recovery. As a matter of fact, a couple of negative numbers now popping, but some zeros out there as well. Moral of the story, today's a lot like yesterday. Tomorrow's weather showing up to our west. Notice we have temperatures that are warmer. Owensboro and Bowling Green, 40 degrees into western Kentucky, near 50 Paducah right now. Some folks have all the luck. 35 Lexington, surrounded by a bunch of 34s. Most areas into that 30 to 35 degree range. Your Defender Radar Network. We've had some snowflakes. We've had some drizzle, some low clouds, some fog. Yes, okay, I'll stop right there. I don't want to throw anything else into the mix. However, a little bit of late day clearing trying to work out of Indiana into parts of northern Kentucky. So around the Ohio River counties will be the first to see at least a little bit of clearing this evening. That clearing will then work its way into town later tonight and into the day tomorrow. To our west, those thermometers really taking off, already pushing 60 into parts of western Missouri and parts of Arkansas. And some of that air gets in here later this week. Short term, let's concentrate on tomorrow. 27 in the morning. 46, 47, 48. If you're lucky enough, southern Kentucky, you may squeeze out a 50. Quick drop tomorrow evening toward the low and mid 30s. New hour by hour forecast is in. Let's look at it together. We'll start you out at 11 tonight. Clearing skies, northern Kentucky. And notice how the clouds try their best to clear out, but that fog may hang tough into early tomorrow morning. As we go into the afternoon, it's not going to be a beautiful blue sky tomorrow. You're just going to have some sun, some clouds kind of fighting it out a little bit with temperatures into the mid and upper 40s. Think that model's a little underdone. We go toward tomorrow night. Now we start to see some clearing skies settling on into town. Winds become southwesterly, and those winds really howl on Friday. We could be talking about Friday, middle of the day, gusts 45 miles per hour or greater. That'll boost temperatures to 60. Comes with a windy price. Now, as we go to Friday night and Saturday, watch for a shower or two to try to develop. Yes, it's a much warmer weekend, upper 50s to low 60s. No, it is not going to be just a picture-perfect weekend, all right? So it's not going to be all birds chirping and roses coming up. We're not talking about that. We're talking about some better weather. Later into the weekend, early next week, big storm system is going to try to crank across the eastern seaboard. We will see what happens with that, but right now odds strongly favor our jet stream taking a huge dip across the eastern part of the country. When that happens, I start to look for storms to pop, and there's the potential for one at some point late Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Even though it's not the prettiest weekend, still going to hit 60.
Well, yeah.
That's all I need to do there.
Keep talking, right?
Drop the clicker and walk off.
See you later. Chris, thank you.
Live look at Lexington rush hour traffic and traffic flow to start things off this afternoon. A couple of trouble spots that we're dealing with. One is at Manowar and Ruidoso. That's where police are working a collision that has one lane of the inner loop of Manowar blocked. You can see traffic backing up really from Palumbo to that point. Now over to the north side, still a couple of collisions there. One's at Georgetown and Ash, and then another one now up at Georgetown and Citation, affecting inbound Georgetown Road. And you can see the backups on the circle there too, all affected because of those two collisions. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Don. The Food and Drug Administration has released guidelines for keeping the Zika virus out of the blood supply. The rules they're asking people to follow ahead.
Several cities have them. Today, a group of people pushed lawmakers to consider a statewide fairness law. We'll show you the rally on WKYT News at 5:30.
Kentucky mornings start here. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT.
Hi, Shane Huffman with the Neil Huffman Automotive Group, and we're celebrating the grand opening of Neil Huffman Honda in Frankfort, where you can get two brand new 2015 Honda Civics for just $449 a month. All those details are on our website, and remember, Huffman has it now in Frankfort.
Going to a fast food joint for slow-smoked pork is like going to a carpenter for a root canal. Sure, they got a drill, but do you really want that in your mouth? Come get some real slow-smoked pork at Sonny's Barbecue. Both pulled and sliced pork with sides and bread for $9.99, or with a redneck egg roll for $11.99. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
Did your family set a goal to become healthier in the new year? One family did and lost 300 pounds at Ageless. Bruce lost 92 pounds, Adam lost 64 pounds, and Catherine lost 151 pounds. For a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution, call Ageless today for a free consultation.
Sleep is a critical component of our athletic training at UK.
Our sleep experts are the champions at matching our customers to the best bed for them.
This week at Sleep Outfitters, get a free TV with qualifying purchase, like this Sealy Pillow Top Queen Set with gel foam, now only $4.99, plus a free TV. Go to sleepoutfitters.com for store locations and hours.
Sleep Outfitters, official sleep provider of UK athletics. Sleep like a champion, play like a champion.
In 1934, Steak and Shake decided the world didn't need another hamburger. They needed a steak burger. So they used 100% beef. Quick seared to seal in the flavor you'll only get from a steak burger. Steak and Shake, home of the original steak burger.
How many power company employees does it take to change 2,500 light bulbs? I'm Delinda Borden for Kentucky Power. One of our experts came out and found the theater could save a lot of money just by changing their light bulbs.
We're saving nearly 87% on our electric bill compared to the old incandescents.
By helping the Paramount to save money, we help them to stay viable in the future. I'll never perform on stage. I'm just proud to be part of the supporting cast.
We may be a power company, but the true power in our communities comes from our people.
Hi, Shane Huffman with the Neil Huffman Automotive Group, and we're celebrating the grand opening of Neil Huffman Honda in Frankfort, where you can get two brand new 2016 Honda Accords for just $499 a month. All those details are on our website, and remember, Huffman has it now in Frankfort.
Get weather plus traffic with a WKYT weather app. Have the Defender Radar Network in the palm of your hand while checking your driving conditions for your commute on the same screen. Weather plus traffic on the WKYT weather app. Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Here's a look at the most viewed stories on our website right now. People want to know more about a Paducah meteorologist facing marijuana charges, a paratitis outbreak at the University of Kentucky, and the state slowing down tax returns because of fraud claims. You can find those stories and more on WKYT.com. There are just 2 days of campaigning left before the South Carolina primary.
And according to the latest polls, Donald Trump has a 2-to-1 lead over the second-place candidate. Craig Boswell is tracking the campaigns from Summerville, South Carolina.
Donald Trump took a tough stance on torture methods during a campaign event Wednesday, telling the crowd not only would he approve waterboarding, but he doesn't think it goes far enough.
They want to kill us. They want to kill us. They want to kill our country. They want to knock out our cities. And don't tell me it doesn't work. Torture works, okay, folks?
Trump is polling far ahead of Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio in South Carolina. Tonight, Rubio is picking up an endorsement from the state's governor, Nikki Haley. Cruz is targeting Trump with an ad featuring Trump's own words.
I am pro-choice in every respect.
Cruz says Trump's lawyers sent a cease and desist order and threatened to sue him, calling the ad defamatory.
And I understand if a candidate has a record like Donald Trump's, how he could consider anyone pointing to his actual record being defamation.
It's close to the primary. How do you feel about Saturday?
I feel good about it.
Jeb Bush is polling near the bottom of the GOP pool heading into Saturday's primary here. He's holding a series of town hall events to try and gain more voters.
This is still Bush country.
Voters like Pat Bilek, who's backing Bush over her husband's choice, Ted Cruz.
I trust him. I trust his principles. I think he's a man of his word. I prefer a governor to a first-term senator.
God bless you.
A preference that Bush and Ohio Governor John Kasich are hoping more voters will share. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Summerville, South Carolina.
And Jeb Bush has struggled to keep his campaign afloat, calling in help from his brother, former President George W. Bush, and his mother, former First Lady Barbara Bush. Apple is resisting a federal judge's order telling the company to help the FBI hack an iPhone. The FBI wants the contents of the phone belonging to one of the shooters in last year's San Bernardino massacre. Apple would have to figure out a way to disable the auto erase feature, which clears the device if too many incorrect passcodes are used. Apple CEO says they'd have to create so-called backdoor for the iPhone, something that Tim Cook told CBS last year is too dangerous.
But the reality is if you put a back door in, that back door is for everybody, for good guys and bad guys.
Apple has 5 days to file an appeal, which could end up going all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
The Food and Drug Administration is issuing guidelines for keeping Zika out of the U.S. blood supply. The agency is asking people recently traveled to affected countries to wait 4 weeks before donating blood. The request also applies to anyone who had sexual contact with those travelers. Doctors say 4 weeks should be enough time for immune systems to clear the virus. More people died in car crashes last year. The National Safety Council says more than 38,000 people died on U.S. roads last year. It's an 8% increase from 2014, which is the largest year-to-year percentage increase in half a century. The council says lower gas prices, lower unemployment, and a stronger economy played a role.
It is a first for a pope. Pope Francis became the first pontiff to visit the U.S.-Mexico border today. This is video of him leaving for the border in Juarez this afternoon, about 50 yards from the border with El Paso. He will hold a mass at the border there near Texas before going to the fence to offer a personal prayer to migrants. A mosquito expert for UK is helping fight the Zika virus, the special type of mosquito he thinks will cut down on infections on WKYT News at 5:30.
A type of surgery used to accommodate religious needs might be helpful for a larger population. We'll show you what it is and how it works in Better Living.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 100.1 WKQQ.
It's the final days of Toyota's Anytime, Anywhere event. One last chance to get 0% financing on many of your favorite new Toyotas, plus 2-year no-cost maintenance, and your first chance to get the all-new 4th generation Prius with more dynamic performance up to 58 mpg and 1.9 financing for 60 months, or a great lease deal. So visit here and then come in here before it all ends February 29th. Toyota, let's go places.
My name is Bob DeArmond. I've had irregular heartbeat since 2007.
In 2013, Bob took part in a clinical research trial
where a cardiac ablation procedure corrected his atrial fibrillation or irregular heartbeat. As the nation's first hospital to receive AFib accreditation, our specialists help patients like Bob live healthier lives.
I feel very, very blessed, and I lead a normal, active life.
Philip Pratt, a proud grandfather, a loving and caring family man, a hard-working small business owner, someone who knows how to grow jobs and change the landscape in Frankfurt. Philip Pratt will hold government accountable responsibly, fight Obama's crippling government overreach on our agriculture economy, and preserve our Kentucky heritage in Owen and Scott County. On Tuesday, March 8th, vote Philip Pratt for state representative.
It's the right thing to do. What's that?
It's what they do, like lifetime rotation and balancing and free alignment with any new tire.
No free kittens?
Kittens? We could do that?
I hate that guy.
These little chickies and little doggies are small, but they're intense.
Oh, yeah, small but intense, like my niece Hannah.
Oh, yeah. And you take karate?
Yeah, she does. Show them how intense you are, Hannah.
Oh, my God. Hey!
Yes. Now finish him. Bow to her, Peter.
I'm gonna bow to it.
Bow to her, Peter.
Big flavor in a little package. New little chickies and little doggies. And grab a burrito and drink for $3 delivered in 2 minutes, guaranteed. This is how you Sonic.
There's no one road out there, no one surface, no one way of driving on each and every road. But there is one car that can conquer them all. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class. 5 driving modes let you customize the steering, shift points, and suspension to fit the mood you're in and the road you're on. The 2016 C-Class 4MATIC starting at $40,950. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. It was originally developed to accommodate patients with religious concerns. Now the medical community is realizing something called bloodless surgery can benefit a larger group. Hannah Daniels explains.
Madison Mason was born with Down syndrome and a heart condition that required open heart surgery.
I was devastated. It was very overwhelming.
The surgery typically requires a blood transfusion, which goes against the Masons' belief as Jehovah's Witnesses.
We want the best treatment possible for her just without blood. So then we had to look at other avenues.
The medical team at Englewood Hospital agreed to perform the surgery without any transfusions, something they had never done before on someone so young. Instead, they gave Madison natural hormones and iron infusions to boost her own red blood cells.
We really were able to bring her blood counts up so that she was strong enough to sustain some blood loss during the procedure without needing a transfusion.
Because transfusions carry serious risks, more physicians are exploring bloodless medicine for all kinds of surgeries.
There were all these things that we can do to make patients healthier, again, to reduce the amount of blood they lost, to make surgery safer, and these patients actually did better.
Madison made a full recovery and was back home in 4 days.
She came out of surgery, and when she saw me, her face lit up and she was trying to get up.
The Masons believe by staying true to their convictions, their daughter received the best possible outcome. Hannah Daniels for CBS News, Englewood, New Jersey.
Medical experts say bloodless surgery should be considered for any type of surgery that has been traditionally associated with transfusions, including hysterectomies, breast surgeries, joint replacements, spinal surgery, brain surgery, and heart surgery. UPS is making it easier to get a passport. The company plans to expand passport services at all of its 4,500 stores. UPS reported an 8% increase in passport service sales between January of 2015 and January of 2016. Demand is expected to grow because nearly 50 million American passports expire over the next 3 years. For more health, education, and consumer news, just go to WKYT.com and click on Better Living. Now, here's what's coming up at 5:30.